All right, there we go. We are live. Hello, and welcome to Winterviews Series 5, Episode 4. Step right up, come on in. Show's about to begin. I'm your host, Catherine Silva, Cat for short. And tonight we have our wonderful guest, the amazing, stupendous Cat Delani.
Two cats.
Two cats.
We're a circus act.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what my circus act would be other than bad jokes, maybe.
Hey, I've been to some where that is actually the whole thing. So you could find employment in a small,
A bad
tiny big top as
bad
part of
joke
a very
circus.
large fair and be just fine.
um I honestly any on your end any like hidden talents that might belong in a circus environment?
I mean, if I had kept training with ballet when I was very small, I am short enough. I would have loved to be a contortionist. I think if I'd known you could legitimately run away with a circus, I may have planned such steps for my life. Uh, but instead, it was always, wow, if I had continued training, I could be like an assassin. And that's just comic books are going to come up a lot tonight because clowns.
No, that's good. There's the clown assassin is not necessarily something that I was thinking would correlate, um but I guess it's contortionist assassin, not clown assassin.
Yeah,
So
they can be in the air ducts and in places you wouldn't expect. You never know. It's
okay, all
fine.
right. Interesting. All right.
But
Well,
my life did not go that way, so I'm not a circus performer, but I did work with people who could do a lot of like fire eating, and they were very cool people. So,
oh, I do know somebody who does that kind of thing actually now, but I have not talked to them about it. There's this really awesome horror writer um, that I met at Nikon this past year who does fire juggling and fire eating, I believe. Um, and their name is, of course, not going to come to my head at this time, but like horror and circus
they go
definitely
together.
they do go together. And that is our topic for today. If
Yeah,
you
we're not
hadn't
just
guessed
talking about
already,
clowns for no reason.
we're talking about carnival horror and circus horror and all the things in between. Um, what was your introduction to circus horror? Just out of curiosity.
If I go, because I don't remember if I ever went as a kid, so there's a chance that I have a buried traumatic memory of going to a circus when I was very young, but I have no recall of it. And I think the very, very earliest was more theme park, but there was a Barbie spy game where you were hunting someone through a theme park and you had to go through like the mirror maze and chase them on rides, and it was all dark noir with all these different areas, and I had to be like 6, 7 playing. That was not a joke. Playing this game, and I was just like, "Ooh, this is interesting. I like this mirror maze. I get lost." And then reading Phantom of the Opera and being obsessed with Phantom of the Opera, and there's also a mirror room, and he has his backstory with Sideshow, and I think those are the two like earliest. Um, and World of Warcraft is the Dark Moon Fair, and I have spent hours of my life, days, weeks in that fair. So
Um, I want to make sure that I heard you right. Did you say Barbie?
I did say Barbie. Yes, there was a
Okay.
secret agent Barbie game, and you had to find footprints and follow them through different sideshow attractions and rides. And I don't know if they said they killed someone. It might have been a heist. This was for children. But all I
Whoa.
remember is the spooky tents chasing through a theme park after dark. And I'm sure there were other things that had theme parks after dark where abandoned kids lived in them, because that wasn't quite Thief Lord, but it's just a thing kids end up at night and things, you know. It's
Yeah.
just a spooky location. Why not?
um, the way that you had sort of lined up the first sentence, I thought that you were hunting Barbie through a mirror
No, you
maze, and I
were
was
Barbie.
like, like horror Barbie in a mirror room situation, which
That would also be fun.
for anybody out there, there's your story idea. Um,
Get Tanya Pell.
yep,
We can make this happen.
Tanya and Lindy Ryan, I think, also has kind of a
Doll
Barbie.
face, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Hey, it's popular. It's
Yeah.
coming back. Do you have any like I was about to say horror circuses. Do you have any carnivals or any or fairs or anything that like come sort of crop up seasonally near you?
We do. We have a few like big festivals, and then I know there's a Maryland State Fair that we did not go to because we went to the Midwest and had to go to the Indiana State Fair and spent
Oh,
like all day there with one of my friends who had helped run an exhibit for the bonsai group in the big 4-H building. So
oh,
we
cool.
went to the Big Top because anytime I see a circus, I have to go. And I mean, there's also like a theme park that shows up at our mall all summer. So we do
All
that, and
right.
then we'll go to Ocean City every summer because we read Joyland every July, and we either
Mm,
start or end it at the boardwalk in Ocean City. So that's a new staple. But we haven't been to the Maryland State Fair yet. I would like to go. But our summers tend to be really busy. It's kind of crazy that there's just stuff to
yeah.
do all the time.
Those pesky summers just so full of too much
Yeah.
going on.
And it's hot
Um
and they're outside. I need a winter fair. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's not something that you see very much of, or if you do, it's usually things like winter solstice. It's
Yeah.
not or Christmas. But winter solstice seems to feel a little more like, because it's pagan maybe, it feels more fair-ish,
Yeah,
or
why not?
carnival-ish. It's got that
Christmas is
more
all
sort of,
markets because you have to spend money.
yeah. Um but yeah, a winter fair could really do with something like that. Uh, and a horror winter fair at that
Yeah.
would be
Krampus, let's
fun.
go. Krampus fair.
Yeah, Krampus fair. Oh. All right, guys, we
Money
need a
makers.
horror Krampus fair needs to be made. Oh God, I have not been paying attention to the comments. I just realized. Um, okay, so we have okay, it's
That's
Tony.
just
All
Tony.
right. Confirming that Cat is in fact an assassin in disguise. We have Bridget here. Just gonna sort of stumble down the list of all the comments that we've gotten. 6, 7.
Was an accident. 8.
We have 8, 9.
We have a bunch of
We are
clowns.
rolling in here. Yeah. I don't know which part of our talk you said would be amazing, but thank
All of
you.
it.
Um 100%.
Yep.
Very nice. You guys are really, like, truly. And there's
We'll
so
go.
much shaming already in early on in this episode. Maine, where? Okay, so I'm in Maine. I would like to know where you're talking about, because I
You
don't
have to go.
know. Like, I would go, in fact, but I apparently they're all in Portland or Bangor, maybe. Not the outer reaches of Maine.
That sounds accurate.
Add some Stephen King, sure. I mean, you can't not have something Maine winter fair without Stephen King, I guess, and have it
King
be
Krampus.
um yeah. Yeah, Portland. Portland is where everything cool happens. Mid-coast, which is, literally between Bangor and Portland, nothing like that happens. So, and then we also have Chasing Barbie through the mail room.
Yes.
So now that we've gone through all the comments, sorry you guys that I was totally neglecting. I had the notes up because I was trying to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I forget what we were talking about before I
First circus encounter of a dark variety, possibly.
Yes.
And there were too many choices.
Yes. I will say I am lucky enough that there is a yearly fair in my hometown that I grew up with, that is like half sort of fair, like state. It's not a state fair, but it's like a what do you call it when there's like, judging cows and horse
like
races and stuff
is it
like
4-H type thing, farm things?
There's some 4-H stuff there, but it is more of like a produce farm sort of fair with with all the janky rides that are from like the 60s that shouldn't still operate. And more recently they've decided to not have those rides at this fair, because I guess it's not in it's not being true to like the history of the Union State Fair.
Sure.
So,
but they're fun.
They are fun, and they are janky.
Oh yeah.
You can't say that you've never been on one of those rides and started to hear things kind of clink and clank and then wonder.
Yeah, and then doesn't that lean so well into horror?
It absolutely does. So being that we're talking about horror, I did want to mention that you have a story that came out in it's kind of a collection. It's like
tiny little antho, yeah.
It's an anthology that you and Cassandra, Celia, and Candace Nola put together, called At Midnight They Feast. And the stories, from what I was reading, all take place on Halloween night. And I wondered if you could tell us a bit about your carnival story from that.
So we were doing kind of like fall fairs instead of like a summer fair or anything like that, just to have it be seasonal. And I spent a lot of years in Indiana, and you don't have a fall carnival without corn mazes because we have a lot of corn in Indiana. So I knew I wanted to do a corn maze, but I wanted to make it weirder. So I decided to mix it with a little fortune telling. Because before you enter the corn maze, you are encouraged to have them check your palm and give you advice on what path to follow through the maze.
Oh.
Or maybe don't enter the maze at all. That's a very bad idea for you based on something that we may or may not have accurately seen in your hand. And I chose the perspective of a worker there who skipped orientation. So she has no idea what is going on or what should be going on. And that is not the kind of mindset you want to be working at this particular fair, dealing with this particular maze and its rules. So don't skip orientation if you're going to work somewhere spooky, because you will be convinced they're hazing you, and they probably aren't. Yeah.
So, didn't listen to the instructions, and bad things are going to happen.
Bad things are going to happen.
That's really intriguing. I also like that it's a corn maze.
Has to be a corn
Um,
maze.
have you done a lot of corn mazes?
Not a lot because I am very directionally challenged. Um, I mean, it's to the point that in, like, there was a room in BioShock that I walked into, got scared, and then didn't know what door I entered from and was completely lost. The door I had entered from was right behind me, I had not turned. But I was terrified and lost and completely scrambled, so I'm very directionally challenged.
Nice.
Um, so I am pretty sure that if it was a corn maze of any difficulty, I would be in deep, deep trouble. But the really easy ones when you're little, those were fine. I did okay with those.
Yeah, they are there are several corn mazes in New England. All of them seem to be a point of pride for whatever farm puts them out. There is one that is at our local farm that we've done every year that is one of the relatively easy ones. Um, and then there is one that is in Colin's home state of Vermont that he has wanted to take me to for several years that is like known to be extremely difficult.
I'm lost.
Like, if you cannot find the way out, there are people inside the maze that will help you find a way out. Especially if there's like an emergency or something, because you're guaranteed to be in there for several hours.
See, like, I want to do it because I know I would be lost, and I really like putting myself in situations like that. Like, I am a baby in a haunted house. And you understand this with glasses too. The minute there's a fog machine, I can't see.
Yeah.
So now people are jumping at me and I can't see them and I don't know where I'm going. So I just kind of lean into that fear. And I think that haunted houses are a great place for that. And I think fairs and carnivals and circuses are a great place to just allow yourself to be taken along for the ride. So though I
Hmm.
would be lost and probably freaking out after 5 hours in that corn maze, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to get lost in the corn in Vermont and just hope that I do eventually emerge and don't meet my demise there.
All right. Well, that's part of the new thing that you have to do every year now.
We gotta go to Vermont.
Go to the Vermont corn maze. We
Get
could
lost.
go. We could all go together. Could be
Road trip.
lots of fun. Um. Uh. Just so that I do know that somebody said in the comments that they were very interested in wanting to read this collection. Um. Is this something that people can get via ebook or via paperback or?
It is both, yes. It was published through Uncomfortably Dark. So wherever Uncomfortably Dark books are sold, you can find it and have a jolly fun time. Sorry about any fairs that it ruins for you, except I'm not.
No, it should. I mean, it
It
shouldn't,
should.
but it's also that's the point is
That's the fun
to
part. Yeah.
make people sort of watch their backs.
A lot of Children of the
Um,
Corn
yep,
happening in the
yep,
comments.
yep. Um, less carnival-y though, more just
Yes.
creepy children in cornfields, in small towns. Um, back on the subject of carnivals. Kind of a fun question. I want you to tell us what your ideal setup is for a circus or carnival horror. Is it more of a big top tent or is it more of a small town fair? Does it have a distinction between types of circuses made for different types of horror? Sort of give us your dream circus, I guess.
It would be a boardwalk that ends at a big top
Hell yeah.
because boardwalks underutilized. I mean, we owe so much to Lost Boys, and yet the boardwalk is underutilized as a carnival thing until, you have things like, I believe the Carnival in Us was at a boardwalk situation.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's just a fantastic venue, but I think the big top is iconic for a reason because it is a focal point that funnels people and then you are stuck in this situation, and that can either be the main event where the big horror is happening, or it is a very, very delightful distraction. So when you exit the tent, you have no idea what you're walking into. So I think the tent is required for my ideal situation, whether or not it is the main focus. But if it is the only focus, then it loses some of its power, except for in like Joe Hill's twittering at the Circus of the Dead, because
Mm,
that's brilliant and it is entirely in the tent. So I like both, but put it on the water.
yep.
Just boardwalk it.
Ironically, I am in the middle of writing a boardwalk scene right now, or editing a boardwalk scene right now. But boardwalk, there's a lot of New England boardwalks as well. Anything by the ocean, like give it to me.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
I'm so happy to have moved to the ocean. It was one of my requirements. So I'm glad that we have water here.
Yeah. Yep. And there's also something to be said about the, like, you can absolutely have the janky old sort of falling apart carnival that a lot of people experience at like a state fair at a boardwalk, like,
Absolutely.
especially because those are all like salt encrusted and just rusting and all other what have you. So I remember my first introduction to horror boardwalk was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And I just loved it. It didn't utilize the carnival aspect a lot, but the fact that it was part of the setting was really cool.
Yeah. Vampire the Masquerade also in general, fantastic. Big fan.
Yeah, me too. Where's the notes? And of course a new comment just like popped up immediately.
Oh, Bridget, you don't know what Vampire the Masquerade is. We have to talk. It is a
Yeah,
tabletop role-playing game system like Dungeons and Dragons, except all of the players are vampires, and it is dark and it
yep,
is lovely. And anytime I think of vampires, they are those vampires because there's
yep,
so many different types of them, and it is
same.
delightful.
Yeah. Vampire the Masquerade, and then there are video games as well. There's several video games now. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is kind of this old one that came out in the early 2000s. It was not it was kind of rough around the edges, but the story has definitely got like a cult following. It has been remastered on, or not remastered, but it's been patched, I guess is the best way to put it. And you can get it, on Steam and all the other places. And there's a second one that's in development right now. So worth checking out, certainly. There's the
Another one converted.
yep. So getting on to circus horror characters, because the carnival comes with a lot of sort of established and I guess what's the best way to put it? They're you kind of expect a certain cast of characters when you get into a circus or carnival, including the most iconic, which would be clowns. And clowns take up the vast majority of well-remembered characters from carnivals. We've got, certainly one of the more remembered ones would be It from Stephen King's It, in which you have a T-shirt on.
Yes. Yes,
and
had to
a
represent Pennywise, the dancing
yep,
clown.
yep. Um,
Also, Losers Club matching glass. We are big fans in this house.
yep. And I just called it like an imbecile, but it is
Well,
Pennywise.
but it does speak to that idea of playing a character. And
Yes,
why is it drawn to the character of Pennywise and what do clowns do? So it's on theme. It
it is.
works.
It's I'm once again going to blame the brain fog. um,
And I will keep finding ways to spin it because that is what I do.
um, so in getting into that, what is it about clowns that you think draws writers to want to portray them horrifically, or if not horrifically, in a horror book, as a character? What's so alluring about clowns?
On the one hand, you can take them out of the circus very easily, and it is concerning when you do. I think that is especially true for real life analogs. Everyone's bringing back 2016. No one's talking about the murder clowns. We have John Wayne Gacy, the famous killer clown. You just, it is a thing. People put on makeup and it's a disguise.
Or I
Oh,
was
that's
reading
so
that
cool.
and I got very excited.
Sorry.
Um,
That's amazing. Alan knows
I
the
did
coolest people.
That's really cool. You know who else wrote a Vampire the Masquerade book? Um, is oh my god.
There's a collection that Cassandra Caw is in that I want to
I
get.
can I can see his face. Oh, I'll think of it in a moment. Anyway, continue.
Yes. But clowns come out of the circus very easily, and I know there's been like the idea that a clown is smiling because of their makeup. So if they're frowning but their face is still smiling, our brains don't like it. And it is very much a mask that you don't take off, like it is just their skin. It allows you to be someone else. So if we look into like the history of clowning and the different ways it is utilized, and in the theater and in like Pagliacci, we have the famous opera clown. Like there's just a lot of things you can do when you aren't recognizable. And if we're horror, we're going to think about the worst things you can do when you're not recognizable. And it's just also unsettling because they stand out. So if suddenly a clown is there, how did you miss them before? It's
Mhm.
not like you see them every day, so you get to actually work in a little bit of a jump scare, either very easily in a movie or like visual media situation, or congratulations, you scared me on the page in a book because that person wasn't there and they're very clearly out of place.
Yeah. Um, that's so the other thing about that is that it's the visual of the clown that is generally disturbing. Um, so being able to recreate that shock factor on the page that you get from seeing one in TV or film is also kind of different. Because a clown can just show up on the screen and immediately be terrifying, or sinister or whatever. Um, it's just like having not written a terrifying clown character. I wonder how, and I've also not read uh, several more well-known Stephen King books about clowns. I do wonder how like easy or difficult it is to portray that shock, um, in word versus just having it be
Yeah.
there as it's not necessarily a jump scare, um, on the page.
Yeah, I think you can build up a little bit because they have so many iconic pieces that go to the stereotypical clown that we think of. Maybe someone's shoes are too big, and that's a detail that you notice. Maui, he just opened the door, so you're gonna say hi to the cat. But maybe their shoes are too big, and you notice that, and that's a detail that's out of place. Maybe there's white makeup. Hi, baby boy. Come here, sweetie. That
Jump
y
scare.
you've got like showing up on fabric, and you're like, well, where did that come from? Or there's like the nose or the tufts of hair that are too brightly colored to have occurred naturally. And you've got little calling cards that you can pepper in that give you a sense of unease until, oh, there's just a clown here. Why is there a clown here? Why is there a clown doing Soul Cycle, Stephen Graham Jones? We just have questions. We have questions. They're concerning. It's fine.
Mm, yep. Nope. I I will say that a lot of I used to be very afraid of clowns. I had a thing that happened when I was a kid. I don't know, for New Englanders who know what Storyland is, it's sort of like this kids theme park ish thing, where fairy tales and stories, kid stories come to life. And I was left with clowns there
Oh no.
to have my face painted, I believe. And there's photographic evidence somewhere.
Oh no.
But that, like, so I kind of think that that was a formative moment of being like, okay, this is something that I never want to have happen again.
It's me with the Chuck E. Cheese mouse. So when Five Nights at Freddy happened, I was not a happy camper. That mouse made me cry. I would
No,
hide in the tunnels. I didn't like that thing.
animatronics are also, or giant mascots per se, are also terrifying.
Yes.
Um, it's
And we
just
think they're for kids, and it's so confusing.
it's that uncanny. It's not exactly uncanny valley, but it's still in that sort of realm where it's just like it shouldn't be living. It shouldn't be doing things that living things do, and yet it is.
We're talking about Furbies now, everybody. Furbies. No.
I had one of those too.
Me too. Terrifying little buggers, those things.
um, wished for one, got it. It would not stop farting and burping, and I was like,
Sounds
okay,
like
I'm
a kitten.
done. This is
I'm
it.
done.
No thanks. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
And
glad that
carnivals
you
like to
enjoyed it.
employ those too, the animatronic things. So it's all
They do.
just
Yep.
anything that, if just slightly off, goes from being fun to horrifying,
Mm,
makes them work really, really well.
yes. Anything that rides the line. Um, in sort of moving on from clowns, which are one of the ones that we know well. What other circus characters do you want to see portrayed more in horror fiction that don't seem to get enough attention?
I think ringmasters are fairly well covered. I think fortune tellers are done badly, and I would like to see them done well.
Mm,
Because anytime a tarot card that is death means death, I cringe inside and part of my soul dies. But so I think having that done well would be very interesting. Joyland does it well, actually, which is nice. Appreciated that nod for King. I think that there is a realm of body horror that could be explored by a contortionist act or by trapeze
mm,
artists that we could tap into,
yep.
because it does walk that line where, are they supposed to be doing that? Are they okay?
Yeah.
Because you paid money to watch someone do something impossible. And I think that's like the magic of a circus or carnival situation in horror, is you don't know what's part of the show and what is not. Everything could be supposed to be happening, or if you're a skeptic, you think it's all smoke and mirrors and it's fake. So when something is real and bad, everyone's caught off guard if they're an audience member.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like sword swallowing I've seen done. Fire eating, the most famous one I know is from Inkheart. Illustrated Man, I would just, Ray Bradbury nods, because that guy was fantastic. But I think the acts that we don't see, so there's this perfume company. Okay, that bumped up my list really fast.
Mm.
There's a perfume company called Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, and they have an entire line of perfumes called the Carnival Diabolique. And
Oh,
the
okay.
whole thing takes you through a really, really messed up carnival. So they have like a whole, instead of a snake charmer, they have a den of snakes where it's like
Mm,
a reptile house. So
yeah,
there's that riff on it, and it's you can get perfumes for a bunch of different kinds of snakes.
cool.
And then they have like a burlesque show. So instead of having like just the circus performance, there's like an after dark variety for the adults
Mhm,
where you can see some horror in that regard. And then different like vendors selling things where instead of it just being carnival games, maybe someone is selling you relics or some kind of strange object or toys, where we
mhm,
can have toys that aren't puppets be terrifying this time, please and thank you, because
mm.
I don't puppets are terrifying.
Yeah, puppets are.
But I think if we opened it up like a flea market or like a convention where instead of just being stalls of games that you're rigged to lose, people are showcasing their skills, or we have like a who knows what you're actually paying for situation at a different like gift shop things. I think that could be really, really fun considering all of the weird businesses that we have been subjected to since 2020.
Mhm.
Like, I know Bridget's in the chat. I would love to see a little pickle stand. What are you buying? What's that? What's pickled there? What's that made out of? We don't know. Hot dogs are
Oh,
a little
geez.
overdone, but we can have horror pickles.
That turned very fast for me. At first, I was thinking like horror pickles. Like
Horror
what?
pickles. What is
Where
it?
are you getting at? And then what is pickled?
What is
And
pickled?
now I just don't even want to think
You don't
about
want to
it.
look closer at the jars. That's
Absolutely not.
yeah, that's what I think a lot of the freedom is in it, because anything can happen at a circus or a carnival. Is like anyone can sign up and join. They're very inclusive, so you never know who's going to be doing what.
Yep,
So
that's
why
fair.
not? Why
It
not?
it, it attracts a lot of strange people. I think that's
Yes.
the other thing is that it's not necessarily just the people who travel with the carnival, who work there, who are part of the acts. It's all the people that also like then go to the carnival. Um, just a lot of weird and perhaps unsavory individuals.
Mm, those pickles. Yeah. Thanks for that reminder. I had
Um,
forgotten it. It was in my subconscious.
have not seen that show yet, so
Horrifying pickles. You've been warned.
apparently, and yeah, just something to think about there.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd also love to see non-horror carnivals, but really dark carnivals
mhm,
that play into more trickster energy and do not necessarily evil, but just chaos
sure,
for fun.
yeah.
What they think is fun might harm people, but we're all just here to have a good time.
I
So I
feel
think that
like
would be very fun.
I feel like Goosebumps may have like edged into that, or maybe not Goosebumps, but like with the Are You Afraid of the Dark? One of
I wasn't
those.
allowed.
Oh,
Do you want to know why I wasn't allowed to read Goosebumps? My sister read the one where the camera turns you invisible and she had nightmares. Arguably one of the least scary concepts for a Goosebumps book, and they
yeah.
were banned from my house.
Wow. That is such a bummer. You should
I
absolutely read
know.
it now.
I would like to. I would like to read them because they are fun.
That is also one of the I'm not going to say it's one of the least horrifying ones, but it's not one of the ones that like sticks in my head as like kind of haunting, I guess. Like there's some good ones. And there's some good circus ones too.
I need to collect them all now. I have a mission.
Um well,
Circus Goosebumps. I need a
yeah.
list.
Um yeah, so anybody in the chat who might happen to have one that they can just pop in there, go for it. I'm gonna, of course, not remember any of the titles right now
We can
because
Google them later. It's fine.
yeah. Um, moving on to the next question, which is all about the traveling circus. The traveling circus is one that comes up time and time again in horror fiction. Let's talk about building a world that moves and reestablishes itself in different places. How does this world change to adapt to its new environment, and how does it remain the same?
That's definitely going to depend on what kind of carnival we're dealing with. So when you look at like Something Wicked This Way Comes, the coolest thing that one does is it does go back to the same spots. So you get that cyclical nature of horror. So not only are things staying the same, they're staying the same too long. And that is always going to be concerning unless one of the things that you're saying is the adults don't remember it because
Mhm.
it's just the nostalgia lens. They don't know it's exactly the same, and now it's just repeating patterns, and that's terrifying. But when things move, one, you can run away with the circus, so people can go missing
Mhm.
and nobody knows, which is fantastic. There's literally nowhere for the bodies to be buried because they move consistently every time. So you're not going to have a big reveal of, look at this years of history that has happened here. Everything has to be portable and people have to be willing to travel. So everyone involved also probably doesn't have roots.
Mhm.
So you're going to have your main people who stay, and that can create a very insular, cult like if you want it, family if you're nice, group of people who are through all of this year after year and city after city. And then they have seasonal workers who are local who just need to pick up some hours doing easy things, either selling tickets or maybe they are actually able to assemble a roller coaster, but that's probably one of their main people who goes with them. So you have different tiers on the people who work there. And
Mhm.
then you're going to have people who everything is brand new. It's never been to their town before. This is exciting. Has it been to any towns before? Has anyone heard of this? Where did it come from? And now we have to question if there's any history involved. Can people find it, or did it come from another realm? Like the possibilities are endless when you don't have to have it set somewhere. And then who knows, maybe the fairgrounds are on. Maybe something horrible happened there, and now the circus people are the one dealing with the haunting instead of knowing it's going to happen because they
Mhm.
didn't know. They got sold terrible land that used to, like, it has a bunch of dead bodies. Like, who knows? It's the housing development in Poltergeist, and nobody knew. So there's just so many different variables you can play with where nobody's going to know something is wrong until it's too late because there's not enough that's constant. Unless
Yeah,
it's the people are constant and they're not changing, and then you just have to hope nobody notices.
that was an amazing
I told you I was going to talk too
breakdown.
much.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
No,
thoughts
I
about circuses and carnivals.
that was good. That was a really good breakdown. Um, and and like I just I think that it we see a lot of books that are told from the perspective of somebody from one of those towns who is seeing that carnival or circus for the first time, and rarely are we actually getting it from the like perspective of the carnival as it's touring different towns, and that could be a really fun change as well.
That'd be
um
awesome.
just seeing like through the seasons how they adapt to each place. um what do they encounter? Do they have any people who follow after who aren't part of the crew? Like it's a cool concept.
Yeah, I love that it travels. It's just so neat. It's
um
because again, also, you run away with it. We
yeah.
taught we it was always such a thing of you're gonna run away and join the circus. And I did not know anyone who ran away and joined the circus, and I really wish I did. I
I
really
do.
wish I knew someone who ran away and joined the circus. So It would be,
Um,
that if you had the kid from Something Wicked This Way Comes who just decided, I work here now, like that'd be
yeah.
awesome. That'd be a
Um,
cooler story, in my unpopular opinion on that book.
I can tell you somebody who actually did that. I'm not going to say who on on this podcast, but I do know somebody.
That's
Um,
awesome. I hope it worked out for
yeah.
them. I hope that his is not a tragic tale.
Sorry, God. Um, it's apologies to everybody in the chat. Also, I am still recovering from the demon cold. But moving on from the traveling circus, we also have all of these circuses that we're kind of talking about are very much the United States traveling circus, the kind of thing that we grew up with. But there are also carnivals and circuses that are unorthodox, that may not be based in the US. Can you think of any examples that have not been done in horror that you'd like to see?
Not been done in horror. I mean, it's probably been done, but I haven't read it. But I feel like if we want to bring masquerades back into it, there's probably some carnival things we could
Mm,
do in like the streets of Venice or
yeah.
somewhere in Italy that could get gnarly really quickly. That would
Um,
be a lot of fun.
that is actually something that inspired a short story that I wrote at one point, because I do think that Carnival is one of those weird fucking things, pardon my language, that just like we do not focus on nearly enough. Those elaborate masks and costumes and everything in Venice, like of all places, it's beautiful and it's strange and it's just like I want more, and I want horror in that.
As a very Italian person, I co-sign this. Carnival, Venetian, horror. Oh man, 'cause you
Um,
can you if we could have a whole episode just on the power of masks. And again,
yep,
I've read too many comic books recently, so I have dealt with a lot of masks.
that's fair. Um,
You could do a lot with a mask.
I mean, very similar. I think would be Mardi Gras, though it's more of a holiday and more of a cultural festival than traveling circus or fair. But it does still have a carnival like atmosphere, um, that I think that could be expanded upon. And if there is Mardi Gras horror out there that I don't know about, um, I
Uh,
could definitely be into it.
We would love to read
Um,
it if you know any.
I'm
Running away with the
um,
circus. Oh, King in Yellow. I would go to a King in Yellow carnival, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
that'd be. I mean, I think a
I'd go
lot
to a
of
Las
people would.
Carcosa carnival. The carnival actually just is a piece of traveling Carcosa. Well, now I'm just gonna have a lot I have to do after this.
Um, the other the other thing, um, oh my god, I think I'm thinking more of just like holiday festivals now instead of carnivals in
Mhm.
different cities and towns. But I would be curious to know um what um what the equivalent to the traveling carnival is in other countries.
I think the other deeply American one that's not a carnival at all, but as we get further and further from their heyday would be perfect, is all of the malls that are becoming abandoned
Mm,
and still have a carousel in the middle of the food court.
yep. Yeah, there is definitely a connection to mall horror. Um, it's less there's something about the circus that is like unfathomably like out of this world, like weird, and but also showy and glitzy, but just strange. And then the mall has the showy and glitzy, but it's not necessarily it doesn't like fascinate you in a I'm weird and this
Yeah.
is weird and gross, I'm grossed out kind of way.
Not
Um
until they're all abandoned and closed down and people never grew up being a mall goth, and it shows.
yeah. And
Though
I
the
think
mall
that
goths would be a subset of clown in that story, that would be very entertaining.
that's that's fair. That's it's a type. It's certainly a type of um circus.
Yeah.
Plus then you've got all the different stores and all the different
Yeah.
workers
All
and
the
everything
different
else.
people trying to sell you their gimmicks in the middle of the, for all intents and purposes, midway.
Yeah.
Starting to think malls were built with the circus in mind.
Mm,
Well, like the World's Fair too is also a big one for historical horror. So we have
yep.
H.H. Holmes.
Yep. That was a fantastic book, Devil in the White City. Um yeah. If you guys have not read Devil in the White City by Eric Larson, you absolutely should. Great nonfiction book that is absolutely horrifying, and part of it is about H.H. Holmes, who basically created his own scary funhouse to kill people in.
Yeah.
That was going on at the same time as the first World's Fair. And that brings us to our wrap up questions. Actually, this slides right into our wrap up questions very well. And that is, what are some of your favorite carnival horror films and TV
Okay.
shows and books and games?
Okay. Movies, the very underrated. I was just talking about this with Bridget, because Bridget knows every horror, like every weird movie, and doesn't know this one. Everyone knows Repo the Genetic Opera, but no one has seen The Devil's Carnival, which is the same creators, but also Emily Autumn, who had a chokehold on me in high school. So I have seen The Devil's Carnival. That one was a ton of fun. We mentioned Lost Boys for Boardwalk Spooks.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep it just circuses, because I'm like, well, there's, if we get to clowns, there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because we mentioned our beloved Pennywise. I don't see a lot of movies. TV shows, we have American Horror Stories, Freak
Yeah,
Show, which was not my favorite of their seasons, but aesthetically was just
same.
fun.
Yeah.
Just a good time from an aesthetic standpoint. Book wise, there's it, and then there's Joyland, and if you squint, there's Revival from Stephen King.
Mm.
And then I really want to read this one, and I'm going to hold it up because I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but One of Us,
Ooh.
because it looks delightful. There's also Geek Love, which isn't technically horror, but I know is sideshow themed, that I have been yelled at to read a few times. That's probably my current off the top of my head shortlist. Um, I feel like I had more, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, put on a
Um,
spot of having to remember media I've consumed.
I will mention Paul Jessup wrote a book last year that has a where a defunct circus is definitely a part of the book. And and again, my brain is terrible with trying to come up with names off
Was
the top
that
of my head.
Suicide Music?
It was Suicide Music.
Yes, I
Thank
was
you
like, there was
very
a
much.
carnival there, wasn't there?
Yes. And so definitely worth checking out Paul's work. It's a very surreal, scary book. And then of course
Oh
Matt
yeah,
is going
Shit
to point
Show.
to the
Gosh,
obvious
I'm
one.
sorry, Chris. I'm
Um,
sorry. That was the obvious one. It was so obvious I
um,
forgot to mention it.
And yeah, Chris was on earlier, was on 2 episodes earlier,
Being
talked
way
about
too
Ship
smart.
Show quite a bit. It is on my to read list this month. Hopefully I
Oh,
will
you'll have fun.
get into it.
Oh, Bradbury was mentioned. I will state on the record that I think Joe Hill's homage to Something Wicked This Way Comes, Dark Carousel is better than Something Wicked This Way Comes because Something Wicked This Way Comes is too moralizing. So it's much better for
Oh,
children, and Joe Hill's is better
okay.
for adults. Twittering at Circus of the Dead is also very fun and toes the line of, is this an act or is this real?
Okay.
Illustrated Man was my introduction to Bradbury, even though technically all the stories in it aren't circusy. They're all on a tattooed man's tattoos, which was just
Hmm.
brilliant. Bradbury, just
Interesting.
brilliant. So that's a good one. Oh man. Just go to the carnival, guys. Go to a circus.
Yeah. You would
Have a ball.
you'd get
Go,
all kinds of ideas.
yeah. Go spend too many hours of your life at the Dark Moon Fair if you play World of Warcraft. I am free from that, but it was a lot. There's a D&D carnival that's attached to the Feywild, so that scratches the chaotic
Hmm.
trickster itch for me. That's a whole Witchlight. I think it's called the Witchlight Carnival. That's fun. I've played through that. Yeah, carnivals,
Um
circuses.
I did just think of one, which is
Nothing Land.
yes, Nothing Land has a carnival in it. And the season, is it season 3 or season 4 of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix has a fantastically weird carnival, traveling carnival.
It does. I loved that show. I
And
forgot
that was
about that
a
show.
good season.
Ended too soon.
Yep, agreed. I
Ended too
really liked
soon.
that show.
I did too. It was so irreverent and so fun.
Yep. Um, and then the next question is, what are you working on anything that is carnival horror related at the moment?
Technically, one of my delightful, wonderful, kind friends has built a MFA writing program for me for this year because I did not get to do the college thing, and it is involving deep dives into the horror subgenres that I'm interested in. So, as part of that class, I am doing more of a deep dive into carnival and circus horror and writing stories based on different acts and making them, like, putting a different spin on them, or like brainstorming ideas for what I would want to do in that space, in that genre, which I'm doing for a few genres, but circus carnival is the one in my notebook that has the most ideas at the moment.
Nice.
So I don't know if I will be posting some of the like work I'm doing on Substack or Patreon because technically social media is in semester number 2. But I might put up some just so I'm not silent on those pages. I haven't read Fantastic Land yet. I do need
I
to.
haven't either. I that is one that I would like to as well. Um, and I remembered another one that I had forgotten about that I read last year and I blurbed. And I feel really bad for not mentioning it. But it was written by Jody Robbins, put out by Wild Hunt Books.
That one's a carnival?
There is a traveling carnival that shows up in, and that's kind of
Is
and
that
it's
off
on the
season?
ocean. The off season is on.
I need that now.
Um, so that one is definitely worth reading as well.
Oh, that's very
Um,
exciting. I know I'm forgetting
and
so many.
I know it's hard. It's hard to remember them. I if I had been smart, I would have written down a whole bunch, but uh,
Hey,
I
it's 2026. We're doing our best.
yeah,
We're doing our
all that can
best.
be expected. Um,
I'm like looking at my shelves, except we moved almost everything out of the book room that wasn't King. So it's not super helpful. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say Nosferatu, also by Joe Hill, because that is
Mm.
a Christmas theme park that is messed up.
All
And
right.
it definitely giving messed up Ringmaster Carnival vibes. So I had that
Bringing it
thought when I was listing
full
Joe Hill's
circle.
other ones, and I forgot. So I'm gonna
Bringing it
also
full
say
circle.
Nosferatu.
Um, and yes, the off season is one of the Northern Weird Project books. I think it was the fourth one they put out.
It's yellow, if I
It is
remember right.
blue.
No, it's
No, it's
blue. It's
blue.
blue. Okay.
Yep.
I get messed up because Good Boy is also blue, and I forget that they have double colors.
Yeah, it's a light blue. And Good Boy, if I remember, is
It's dark blue.
dark blue. Um,
I need to buy the rest of those.
and the Northern Weird Project books, there's some bangers in there, like some seriously good books. Definitely worth checking out. I want to read all of them eventually. But start with the off season because it's carnival horror related.
It's very exciting. And you said by the sea, so already sold.
Yes. Yep. And it's British. It's like Blackpool or somewhere like that. By the ocean. So that brings us to the end of our carnival horror episode. Thank you, Kat, for coming out tonight and getting into it, talking all about the scary, fun stuff.
Thank you, Kat, for helping me do my homework.
It
was fun.
You know,
it made it more fun.
Happy to help. Homework for carnival horror, that's like fun homework.
Oh, so, the whole thing is fun homework.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a lot of assignments every week, but it was a very kind gift for a friend to put together. So I'm very grateful. It's Leslie Patton, everybody. You should follow really her on Instagram. She is in a collection that just came out that benefits the Lakota Wolf Preserve that I am also in, called With Teeth. That came out on Tuesday. And everyone should pick that up because it is for a good cause and full of wolfy fun. And I don't know if anyone set one at a carnival, but now I want a werewolf carnival because a carnival every full moon sounds like a good time.
I mean, honestly, a carnival filled with the classic movie monsters would be kind of fun.
That would be banging. I would spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd also probably die.
Somebody could do that as a thing. If you wanted to come up with a
dunk tank, but it's the Black Lagoon. Just saying, we have options.
Yep. Once again, I popped back over to notes at the wrong time, and then there were 8 comments, so I apologize. These are all the people who are saying great things about the Northern Weird Project books. And now everybody's saying yay and bye. So
wonderful.
Thank you all for coming out and hanging out with us and talking all about carnival horror and circuses and clowns and scary stuff with us. Very interactive chat. I always appreciate when we've got everybody sort of adding to the conversation. Even though I am terrible at keeping up at making sure that those get put. You know what? There's actually a button that you can press that says show comments on stage. Oh, but I have to upgrade. Never mind.
Well, not worth it. It's fine.
Damn it.
We just get little pockets.
Fine. I will just continue to do it manually forever. But again, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Kat, for coming out. We don't have another episode until next Thursday, February 19th. We have Kyle Winkler on and we're going to be talking about cosmic horror, which is super awesome. I love cosmic horror. And Kyle is a really unorthodox, cool author. So make sure that you come join us again. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same as tonight. Until then, thank you all and have a good evening.
Thank you.